Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, the will and us to the apostles of great milestone who ruled well. Salutation and blessing to the sincere Akim, pushing this word in sincerity and in all truth. This is Brother Howard, and I'm here to the video, and hopefully this video will be edifying and informative. Alright, as you can see, any local newspaper 16 hours ago, Trinidad Express newspaper, it says, reading aloud from a proposed letter from a supporter on his state television program this weekend. Venezuela ruling party heavyweight and Justice Minister Diosdado Cabello shared a line that Caracas could recover Trinidad. The letter read by Cabello during his Con El Mazo Dedo weekly television show purports to be authorized by the persona Padrico Mara Chiquico, a figure from whom Cabello often reads letters, right? And suggested that the U.S. tension in the Caribbean could be leveraged to recover a twin island state. All right. So what does this mean? What does this really symbolize for Trinidad and Tobago? Right? Venezuelan minister read letter suggesting claim to recover Trinidad. What does this mean that Venezuela want to take their claim the land of Trinidad? You know what it mean? Because we see tension arising. They say that they have submarines in the international waters, right off of the coast of Trinidad. Because of what's going on in Venezuela right now. And as we've been saying, we and the brothers been talking, and we've been saying, we've been looking forward for things popping off in the Middle East, with America and Russia, whatever the case might be, not knowing that things could very well pop off or happen right here in our Caribbean waters, right in here in Trinidad and Tobago. You see? So I was talking to chat and asking chat GPT, what does this really mean? So let me just, right, so this is what chat have to say. It says the phrase Venezuela claim to recover Trinidad or similar refer to recent statements by Venezuelan leaders suggesting that Trinidad and Tobago could be subject to claims or pressure from Venezuela, especially in the context of security, maritime, or geopolitical tension. It does not so far appear to be a formal legal claim to sovereignty over Trinidad or its territory under international law, but rather rhetoric threats or insinuation tied to defense borders or perceived provocation. Here's a breakdown of what's going on and what it could mean. Right, so what the recent news says: warnings, threats from Venezuela official. Venezuela defense minister, and there's something I wanted to get into, Vladimir Pedrino Lopez warned that if Trinidad and Tobago or Guyana allowed their territory to be used by the U.S. or others for military action against Venezuela, then Venezuela would respond in legitimate defense. All right, so in other words, Our Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Pisesa, right, the drunkard, she made in a statement that Trinidad and Tobago will be defending their Guyanese brothers if Venezuela choose to to act on Guyana. All right. So the defense minister of Venezuela sent this statement to Trinidad and Guyana. Right. If you have America in your country to fight against us, we will react. Right. And they said they will react in a legitimate type of way within all rights. Right. And we see that these things here is prophecies. Right. We seen this as prophecy, prophecy, prophecy. Right? Prophecy happening left, right, and center. You know? But the citizens, I want to talk too much, but the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, they're kicking up against it. But she made a next statement saying they will defend their brothers. Now, 3 seconds and just 6. I'll start from verse 23. It says, "And the trumpet shall give a song, which when every man hears, they shall be suddenly afraid." And that is exactly what going on. Because even the fisherman, I want to do a video on that, even the fishermen and them afraid. They're afraid to go out in the water. They're surfacing right close to land with a little fish and thing. Right? So that is what going on. People suddenly afraid of what is going on right now. Trump bombing, Trump shooting America, the US troops, the military, drone shooting little boats in the water saying that they're carrying drugs to the US, wherever the case coming from Venezuela. So they are afraid to get shoot out of the water because they're shooting all things out of the water. Right? So I read it, it says, "And the trumpet shall give a song," right? Which which when every man hear it, they shall suddenly be afraid. And that time shall friends fight against another like enemies, right? Because the CARICOM country right now they kicking up against what Trinidad getting themselves involved in. Or not even Trinidad, but well, but with this woman involved in Trinidad in. And no, we not the men of the Lord, we are not angry of what's going on. Right? This thing building our faith even more. Right? Knowing the times, right? The days are evil, right? Right? There's Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. It says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." And that is it. We living in some evil time. And what the word evil mean? The word evil mean just bad times. So we living in bad times. Right? We see Trump put tariff on Trinidad and Tobago, and we see things actually going up, right? Slowly and surely, but surely. Brother Lama, you mentioned earlier, he went and buy sulfur for 20 something dollars. When he go back the next week, it's 30 something dollars. All right? So it's happening. It says, "At that time, shall friends fight against one another, like enemies, right? And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein." The springs of the of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Wherefore, whosoever remaineth all the right. So basically, I will put this in the context of Venezuela is our neighbor. We did deals with Venezuela, whatever the case might be. And for just one false move, one foolish move could cause a whole uproar. Because let me say like 2%, 3% of Trinidad's population, to Venezuela make up about, I just saying, because there are a lot of Venezuelan down here. Probably they will say 1%, I go say about 2%. Because boy, it have a lot of Venezuelan down here now. Right? So we like friends, we like family, and we are family, according to the scriptures. You see, the northern tribe. But this is how these things had to go, right? We deeming the times because they are evil, right? And it's the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai is the one who's stirring up these things, you know? So I'll go back in chat. So chat say, right, so it says right here now, it says Vice President Dalcy Rodriguez told them don't even think about it in reference to using their country as a base or permitting aggression against Venezuela. Specific allegations. Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro has alleged that Colombia paramilitary were entering eastern Venezuela from Trinidad and Tobago with weapons, which Trinidad and Tobago government says they are investigating, but have found no evidence so far. There has also been tensions over whether the US is using or might use Trinidad and Tobago or Guyana as a staggering ground for operations, and whether these neighbors are in effect siding with US policy in ways seen as hostile by Caracas. So Trump making a move, right? As the apostle called him, Nero. He making moves. He making moves, and now he's saying that recent things he's saying that is Jamaica. Jamaica now they are he looking to enter into Jamaica now or crack down on Jamaica because he says Jamaica doing the same thing. They doing illegal drugs or whatever the case might be. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Another boat with 3 people on board. Even if they were carrying cocaine, killing 3 innocent passengers on an unarmed and completely unarmored boat with a rifle is a truly disproportionate and utterly indefensible act of murder. Yeah. And the United States government is actively killing Latin American people on their very own land because it's their sovereign territorial waters. They absolutely have.
There's provocation to the fullest. This here is provocation to the fullest, and they the first time I'm actually watching this video here. I never get a chance to watch it. So they the book of is that right? Jeremiah, book of Jeremiah, Old Testament, book of Jeremiah, chapter 49. And verse 20, 21, 25. Jeremiah probably start from 21, yes? Jeremiah 49. Probably I will find what I'm going on. So it says the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, and the city, the noise thereof, was heard in the Red Sea. Yeah, we thinking all these things gonna happen one last time, you know, man. Value Josaphat, Yahweh. You understand? Hey, nothing happened here in our waters yet. Only go see the international waters, right? Because it closed the international and the Caribbean waters, ride it or ride it. You understand? So basically, nobody don't own that wherever the US doing their their military fucking whatever you may call it, right? What you go call it? I ain't gonna say drills, but the strikes, right? The unlawful strikes against these so-called cartels, as they say. They're doing it within international waters. They're free to do it, but they're far from home. But they're close to our home. They're close to Venezuela home, right? So that come like a act of terror, right? It says, "Behold, he shall come up and fly as an eagle and spread his wings over birds." While they're speaking about Yahushai, and at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. That's not nah. If it's not this scripture, is 20, is 4, is Jeremiah 50 and 20. Bear with me. Yeah, so look, Jeremiah 50 and verse 23. It says, "A song of battle is in the land, as we could see, and a great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nation?" And as we seeing it, boy, we seeing Trump being
Territorial waters, they absolutely.
we seeing Trump being a tyrant. We seeing him being he just doing thing vice. He just doing thing helter skelter. He doing what he want, right? Because they are the hammer of the earth, right? They are ancient Rome. But here we saying here.
We have no right whatsoever to be there. And if there are Latin Americans here who grant the United States government the right to kill defenseless Latin Americans, they are nothing more than lackeys, spelled with a C and a Y for Yucca.
I wasn't going to say anything about this topic this morning because yesterday I read the comments and I realized social media has made a lot of people very ignorant. It shows up their arrogance and their misunderstanding of a lot of things in life.
Well, basically, what it says Caribbean will learn as U.S. targets Haiti, Jamaica, Bahamas, right? And others, right? So this is what they're doing. You see, the United States, they're back against the wall. So their strong defense is these countries, they're doing illegal jogging, whatever the case might be, all right? And their duty is to clean up the world. But really and truly, they're heading right after the natural resources, which is the oil and gas. You see? So what the US will start to do, and what they started to do since Trump in office, they start to give these countries tariffs. They start to place tariffs on them. some high tariffs until they buckle, until they had them in their hands, so they could come now and do some deals, right? With with these Caribbean countries. They wouldn't have a choice, and that is what he's doing. But you could not do China that. But anyway, so we see you actually the Lord sounding that trumpet by Yahbashim Yashai sounding that trumpet, and that is just it. Go on, right? So it says here, what the recent news says. It says warning threats. Right? I read that already. So you say Trinidad and Tobago has pushed back, insisting on sovereignty, rejecting threats. There is no current threat court case or other clear legal instrument, indicating Venezuela is formally claiming Trinidad as Venezuelan territory. So that is out of the picture there right now. So the signs of the times. This is the signs of the times. So I want to give all praises and glory. Hopefully this video is edifying, I should say. This is just a quick little update on actually what is going on, in the world, and hopefully this video is edifying. Give all praises and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yashai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who well. Bless and citation to the sincere can pushing this word in sincerity and in all truth. Our dear brother Howard, saying shalom to the Lord's hopeful and sincere elect.